Live from New Delhi, you're watching GD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, preliminary investigation to the June 12th Air India crash reveals both the engines shut down after fuel supply to them were cut off within seconds of takeoff. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the employment fair held at 47 locations across India. Appointment letters distributed to over 51,000 youth. US State Department begins layoffs. More than 1,300 State Department employees fired in a downsizing ordered by President Donald Trump. 8-seed Iga Swiatek faces American Amanda Anisimova in the Wimbledon 2025 women's singles final in London later today. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has released a preliminary report on the June 12th crash of Air India Boeing 7878 aircraft in Ahmedabad, revealing both the engines shut down within seconds of takeoff. According to the report, the aircraft achieved the maximum recorded airspeed of 180 knots IAS at about 8:08 UTC, and immediately thereafter the engine 1 and engine 2 fuel cutoff switches transitioned from run to cutoff position, one after another. With a time gap of about 1 second, the engine N1 and N2 began to decrease their from their takeoff values as the fuel supply to the engines was cut off. The report acknowledged that the CCTV footage obtained from the airport showed RAM air turbine getting deployed during the initial climb immediately after liftoff. No significant bird activity was observed in the vicinity of the flight path. The aircraft started to lose altitude before crossing the airport perimeter wall. Meanwhile, Air India acknowledged receipt of 15-page preliminary report and said that it continues to fully cooperate with the AAIB and other authorities. In a post on X, Air India stated, Air India stands in solidarity with the families of those affected by the AI 171 accident. We continue to mourn the loss and are fully committed to providing support during this difficult time. We acknowledge the receipt of a preliminary report released by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau on the 12th of July 2025. Air India is working closely with stakeholders, including regulators. We continue to fully cooperate with the AAIB and other authorities as their investigation progresses. Given the active nature of the investigation, we are unable to comment on specific details and refer all such inquiries to the AAIB. India's Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu urged caution after the release of the report on Saturday. He emphasized that this is only an initial finding and urged everyone to wait for the final report before drawing conclusions. Naidu also expressed confidence in India's aviation sector, saying that the country has the finest pilots and crew in the world.
Report right now, and from the ministry we are analyzing the report, but I think it would be better if we can comment on it once the final report comes in. I don't think we should jump into any conclusions on this. I truly believe we have the most wonderful workforce in terms of pilots and the crew in the whole world. I have to appreciate all the efforts the pilots and the crew in this country are putting into the aviation. They are the backbone of this civil aviation.
Meanwhile, the Airline Pilots Association of India has rejected the preliminary investigation report of Air India AI 171 crash. In a statement, they said that the tone and direction of the investigation suggests a bias towards pilot error. They categorically rejected this presumption and insist on a fair, fact-based inquiry. Moving on to other news, last year India had actively engaged on the world stage, showcasing a pragmatic foreign policy that significantly boosted its international standing. The Ministry of External Affairs steered these efforts, advancing national interests by strengthening ties with partners, pushing for reforms in global bodies and championing the global south. Despite the ongoing global economic shifts and geopolitical tensions, India remained a proactive voice in major international discussions.
A key focus was India's continued leadership in the G20. Building on its previous presidency, India collaborated with Brazil and South Africa in the Troika. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's contribution at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro were widely praised for their human-centric approach. A notable outcome was the African Union's first participation as a permanent G20 member, which was a direct result of India's efforts in 2023. India also hosted the third Voice of the Global South Summit, where Prime Minister Modi proposed a global development compact to foster sustainable development across the region. Beyond multilateral forums, India deepened its bilateral relationships through numerous Foreign Office consultations with 35 countries, reinforcing diplomatic ties globally. Closer to home, India reaffirmed its neighbourhood first policy, where leaders from several neighbouring countries attended Prime Minister Narendra Modi's swearing in ceremony in June, highlighting strong regional bonds. India's commitment to humanitarian aid also continued, particularly in Afghanistan, where it provided crucial supplies and scholarships, including for women working with UN bodies. This comprehensive engagement, from high-level summits to direct aid and bilateral dialogues, underscored India's dynamic role in shaping a more equitable and stable global environment throughout 2024. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday virtually attended the ceremony of distribution of appointment letters to 51,000 people at the 16th Rozgar Mela held at 47 locations across India. The newly appointed youth will be recruited across central government ministries and departments. Prime Minister Modi congratulated the young individuals on beginning their service in various departments, emphasizing that despite different roles, their common goal is national service, guided by the principle of citizen first. While addressing the event, Prime Minister highlighted that India is being ranked among the top countries with the highest equality in the world.
आज वर्ल्ड बैंक जैसी बड़ी वैश्विक संस्थाएं खुल करके इस काम के लिए भारत की प्रशंसा कर रही है, दुनिया को भारत को मॉडल के रूप में प्रस्तुत करती है। भारत को दुनिया के सबसे अधिक इक्वालिटी वाले शीर्ष के देशों में रखा जा रहा है, यानी असमानता तेजी से कम हो रही है, हम समानता की ओर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, ये भी विश्व अब नोटिस कर रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi also added that these young people are playing a significant role in nation building. The Prime Minister also said that these Rozgar Melas reflect our government's commitment to empowering the youth and making them catalysts in building a Viksit Bharat.
आज दुनिया मान रही है कि भारत के पास दो असीमित शक्तियां हैं, एक डेमोग्राफी, दूसरी डेमोक्रेसी, यानी सबसे बड़ी युवा आबादी और सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र। युवाओं का यह सामर्थ्य हमारी भारत के उज्जवल भविष्य की सबसे बड़ी पूंजी भी है और सबसे बड़ी गारंटी भी है। और हमारी सरकार इसी पूंजी को समृद्धि का सूत्र बनाने में दिन रात जुटी है।
India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar attended the 4th convocation ceremony of the Indian Institute of Information Technology, Kota, on Saturday. He was felicitated by the Governor of Rajasthan, Haribabhau Bagde, the state ministers, along with other dignitaries. Addressing the event, VP Dhankar said that education is the most impactful and transformative mechanism to bring about equality and to strengthen democratic values. The Vice President also planted saplings at IIT Kota.
Education is the most impactful, transformative mechanism to bring about equality, to cut into inequities, and to give cutting edge to democratic values. IIT Kota is helping forge the foundation of digital India, now a global need. It is not merely imparting technical knowledge, it is much beyond. It is shaping the contours of a new confident and technologically sovereign India.
Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the newly built BJP Kerala unit's headquarters in Thiruvananthapuram on Saturday. At the inauguration, Amit Shah planted a sapling in front of the office building and also unveiled the sculpture of BJP former state president, late KG Marad. The state-of-the-art office is a 7-story, 60,000 square foot building. Addressing the gathering at Viksit Keralam Sammelan, the Home Minister said that without the development of the southern states, a developed India is simply not possible.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए कार्यालय ये हमारे लिए मंदिर की स्थान जितना पवित्र स्थान है। श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने विकसित भारत की संकल्पना देश के 140 करोड़ लोगों के सामने रखी। विकसित भारत का रास्ता विकसित केरलम से होकर ही जाता है। दक्षिण के शक्तिशाली राज्यों के विकास के बगैर विकसित भारत संभव ही नहीं।
Maratha military landscapes of India have been added to the UNESCO World Heritage List, becoming India's 44th property to receive this global recognition. The historic decision was taken during the 47th session of the World Heritage Committee in Paris on Friday. This global accolade celebrates India's enduring cultural legacy, showcasing its diverse traditions of architectural brilliance, regional identity, and historical continuity. Located across a range of diverse terrains, from coastal outposts to hilltop strongholds, this extraordinary network of 12 forts reflect a sophisticated understanding of geography and strategic defense planning. Together, they form a cohesive military landscape that highlights the innovation and regional adaptation of fortification traditions in India. India ranks 6th globally and 2nd in the Asia-Pacific region for most number of World Heritage Sites. Prime Minister, the Culture Minister, along with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, lauded the historic milestone and congratulated the people of India for this achievement. Taking to social media X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, every Indian is elated with the recognition. These Maratha military landscapes include 12 majestic forts, 11 of which are in Maharashtra and 1 in Tamil Nadu. When we speak of the glorious Maratha Empire, we associate it with good governance, military strength, cultural pride, and the emphasis on social welfare. The great rulers inspire us with their refusal to bow to any injustice. I call upon everyone to go and visit these forts and learn about the rich history of the Maratha Empire." Unquote. Still to come up on this edition of DD India Live, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov meets with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his visit to the secretive country, and which is a key Moscow ally. At least 23 people have been killed after an attack on a monastery in a village in Myanmar's Sagaing region.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar. अरे it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. Let's take a look at some U.S. news. More than 1,300 State Department employees were fired since Friday in a downsizing ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump. As the administration of Donald Trump presses ahead with an unprecedented overhaul of its U.S. diplomatic corps, move critics say will undermine U.S. interests abroad. The layoffs cover 1,101 civil service and 246 foreign service officers based in the U.S. The layoffs at the department came 3 days after the Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to begin carrying out its plan to gut the entire government departments. The conservative-dominated top court lifted a temporary block imposed by a lower court on Trump's plans to lay off potentially tens of thousands of employees. The U.S. on Friday announced for the first time sanctions against Cuban President Canel for his role in the regime's brutality towards the Cuban people. This is what the Americans say. The U.S. State Department was restricting visas for the president and other high-ranking government officials. Other officials sanctioned included Defense Minister Alvaro Lopez Mayra and Interior Minister Lazaro Alberto Alvarez Casas. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio accused the Cuban government of suppressing dissent and mismanaging national resources, pointing to the regime's harsh response to the July 2021 mass protests, the largest public demonstration since the 1959 revolution. The protests, which resulted in hundreds of arrests, dozens of injuries, and one death, drawing global condemnation. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Saturday met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his visit to the secretive country, which is a key Moscow ally. It is the latest in a series of high-profile trips by top Moscow officials as both countries deepen military and political ties over Russia's offensive in Ukraine. Pyongyang sent thousands of troops to Russia's Kursk region to oust Kiev's forces and provided the Russian army with artillery shells and missiles. Earlier, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met with North Korean Foreign Minister Cho Son-hui in Wonsan. During the talks, Lavrov thanked North Korea's leadership for what he called a very important contribution to the just cause of liberating Russian territories. Those are the Russian words.
We are sincerely grateful to the leadership of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, all military personnel, soldiers and officers who demonstrated excellent combat training and made a very important contribution to the just cause of liberating Russian territories.
Russia launched a fresh wave of drone and missile strikes on Ukraine, striking several regions in the west of the country on Saturday. At least 2 people were killed and 14 others injured when Russian drones and a missile struck residential areas. Ukraine claimed that the strike destroyed buildings and firefighters dousing smoldering debris. Almost 5,000 people have been killed in Haiti since October 2024 as gang violence has escalated, particularly around the capital Port-au-Prince, according to a UN report. The surge in violence has displaced hundreds of thousands amid the humanitarian crisis. destabilizing the country and raising concerns of spillover effects in the region. Between October 2024 and June 2025, 4,864 people have been killed in Haiti amid worsening gang violence nationwide. Port-au-Prince and surrounding areas accounted for more than 1,000 of the deaths. Gangs have increasingly taken control across Haiti, overwhelming local security forces, forcing international aid organizations to scale back operations and forcing tens of thousands of residents from their homes. At least 23 people have been killed after an attack on a monastery in a village in Myanmar's Sagaing region. The monastery in the village of Lintalu was hit in the early hours of Friday morning. The monastery housed around 200 people displaced by nearby fighting between the army and pro-democracy forces. Myanmar has been gripped by conflict since the military suppressed protests against the 2021 coup that unseated the elected government led by Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. Days after a devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Sagaing on March 28th, the government announced a temporary ceasefire to provide humanitarian relief. However, the military has continued to launch airstrikes and artillery attacks on rebel-controlled areas. U.S. President Donald Trump and the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, visited the Texas community of Kerrville on Friday, a week after flooding claimed at least 120 lives in the region. Trump, the First Lady of the United States, and Texas Governor Greg toured areas near the river, receiving a briefing from the first responders amid the debris left in the wake of the flood. President Trump defended the state and federal response to deadly flash flooding as he visited the Hill Country region, where many children died a week ago. Search teams on Friday continued combing through muddy debris in central Texas, looking for many still listed as missing. No survivors have been found since the day of the floods. The devastation of flash floods is clearly visible across Texas. Homes are submerged, roads are torn apart, and communities are left reeling from the sudden destruction.
The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people. We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. We're not going to let a thing like this happen again where it can wreak this kind of devastation.
A tornado warning abruptly interrupted in Iowa Speedway, forcing attendees to seek shelter as storm conditions swept through the area. While the storm caused a temporary disruption, the abnormal activity in the sky signaled the rapid approach of severe weather, prompting officials to immediately suspend the event for everyone's safety. Same abnormal activity was witnessed in Maryland, where a rear shelf cloud was seen in the region a few days back. The rear cloud formation that forms along the foremost edge of a thunderstorm's gust front signals intensifying conditions. The U.S. National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania that prompted tornado warnings. On to some weather news from India. Monsoon has tightened its grip across India. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued an orange alert for East Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Parts of Delhi and adjoining NCR received heavy rainfall on Saturday, bringing relief from soaring temperatures. Earlier today, the Indian Meteorological Department predicted light to moderate rainfall in parts of the national capital region, including Faridabad, Greater Noida, Ghaziabad, as well as several areas across South, Central and East Delhi. In Jammu and Kashmir, isolated heavy rainfall is likely between July 14th and 17th, while Odisha and Bihar can witness rains till early next week. On to some sports news now. A new women's champion will be crowned at Wimbledon 2025 as the five-time Grand Slam winner Iga Swiatek faces off against Amanda Anisimova in a blockbuster final. As both players gear up for the final, the centre court is ready to witness blockbuster showdown. Here's a report.
Known for her dominance on clay, Swiatek has reshaped her game this season, working specifically on her movement and serve to finally find comfort on grass. After reaching her first grass final in Bad Homburg and now her second here at Wimbledon, the signs are clear. She's more than just a clay court queen. When Iga Swiatek walks out for Saturday's final, she'll be chasing her sixth Grand Slam title, but her very first at Wimbledon. Swiatek has dropped just one set all tournament, that too in round 2. A win on Saturday would make her the fastest woman to 100 Grand Slam match wins since Serena Williams in 2004. But standing in her way is one of the most compelling stories of the season, Amanda Anisimova. A year ago, Anisimova didn't even qualify for Wimbledon. Ranked outside the top 180 and returning from a break from tennis, few saw her resurgence coming. But since then, she has won a WTA 1000 title in Doha, reached another final in Canada, and is now into her first ever Grand Slam final. The American powerhouse has shown resilience, and on Saturday, she'll break into the top 10 for the first time. She arrives at the final on the back of a stunning upset over world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka in the semis. For the 8th consecutive year, Wimbledon will crown a new women's champion. The final will crown a new queen of centre court, whether it's Iga Swiatek completing her Grand Slam set or Amanda Anisimova becoming the first American Wimbledon winner since 2016. Sports Desk, DD India.
And that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. The app is available both on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amrit Pal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live.